Hi, hello, very good evening, audience. I welcome you all to this fifth session of Commodities Insights, Trends, and Forecast series. So, first of all, thank you so much. Of course, this is only fifth session, koi 50th session to nahi hai, but still, this what we are doing today is itself a big thing. We being consistent. So, being consistent is what matters after all, right? Being available is what matters after all. And also, would like to thank you all. पहले से यहाँ पे आके रुके हो. You have been waiting for this सेशन. सो एज ऑलवेज इस सेशन में हम कमोडिटीज के बारे में स्पेसिफिक टू कमोडिटीज इन द ग्लोबल सेंस, नॉट इन द डोमेस्टिक, इन द ग्लोबल सेंस, क्या क्या एक्टिविटीज हुए थे फंडामेंटली एंड टेक्निकली, एंड क्या ट्रेंड्स, अभी प्राइस ट्रेंड्स क्या चल रहा है फॉर फ्यूचर, व्हाट आर द प्राइस लेवल्स वी नीड टू लुक एट, एंड आगे जाके क्या फंडामेंटल न्यूज हमको देखना चाहिए, वो सब पॉइंट्स हम इसमें डिस्कस करेंगे. So that's what basically this means. I hope you're able to see my screen. And before that, before quickly entering into the session, I would request you all to please put it in the chat box. आप क्या इस सेशन से एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हो? आई नो लास्ट 4 सेशंस आपने अटेंड किए होंगे या एक दो अटेंड किए होंगे, या मे बी दिस इज द फर्स्ट सेशन यू आर अटेंडिंग इन द सीरीज. तो व्हाट आर यू एक्सपेक्टिंग? So whatever be the case, आप सेशन से क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हो? I would like to see in the YouTube chat. मैं parallelly YouTube chat open करके रखा हूँ, so you can put it there. If there is anything that I can incorporate meanwhile in the next 1 hour, I will try and do that. And session भी English हिंदी दोनों में रखूंगा. I'll try to manage between both the languages. And I also wanted to give a heads up on ICICI Direct's commodities interest. That is every Thursday 4 p.m. we dedicate 1 hour for commodities. Every Thursday 4 to 5 is for commodities at ICICI Direct. So every week आप आ सकते हो. You will see any webinar or another on commodities. तो जैसे कि आज के जो series चल रहा है, इसका series like once in 2 weeks you can see this series going on, each episodes, and alternately you will also see Ask Us Anything on Commodity series also going on. So आज मैं हूँ in the Ask Us Anything webinar. You will have Ramesh and Beauty Dubey. So वो दोनों handle करेंगे Ask Us Anything on commodities. So any and every query that you have about the commodities market, be it with respect to the Indian markets, exchanges में, या global markets में, news, how does the product works, तो ये सब आप कोई भी questions पूछ सकते हो. You can put in the chat box. Even in this session you can put any question in the chat box. वो भी हम parallelly लेते रहेंगे. We'll try and answer you. क्या थोड़ा हिंदी में भी हो सकता है? या श्योर हिंदी इंग्लिश दोनों रख लूंगा. I'll make sure everyone will understand the session. सभी लोगों को समझने जैसे मैं सेशन रख लूंगा, आगे लेके जाऊंगा. इंग्लिश थोड़ा, sure, English, Hindi, both together. And as I suggested, please put what you expect and what you'd want from the session in the chat. I will try to incorporate in the session. And as usual, we will enter into it. हमारा agenda आज का ये रहेगा. As we had been promoting it, ICICI Direct's Commodity Yearly 2025 report has come out, and today's session we will try to go through that report. हमारा news वगैरह उसके हिसाब से we will base and we will discuss on it. And I would like to also mention कि जो भी reports, जो भी links, मतलब for in order to explain any fundamentals, कोई भी links पे हम अगर हम लेके जाए, like some different websites, it is not all promotional. It is only for informational purpose. I'm just giving you the disclaimer beginning. Where can we find the previous episodes? अगर आप ICICI Direct YouTube page में जाओगे, you'll just type this title, Commodities Insights, Trends and Forecast. तो पहले 4 sessions भी आ जाएंगे. Can you please talk a bit about resources for monitoring supply demand for nat gas and crude? Definitely, Satish ji, we will cover that also one by one. So हमारा agenda ये रहेगा आज के लिए. First, we will go through the commodity yearly outlook for the calendar year 2025. We'll first go through that. तो पहले वो करेंगे. Second, कुछ और fundamental points other than the report, if any we have, I will discuss. I am Arvind Shankar, product manager for commodities at ICICI Direct. And post that, the technical analysis will be done by Anup Sahu, research analyst. So he will take you through the price levels using with the help of charts. But towards the end, for question and answers, हम लेके जाएंगे आपको. So now first, ICICI Direct's Commodity Yearly 2025 refer कर लेंगे. I've just given the link here. I've also made some इंडेक्स काइंड ऑफ कि क्या क्या टॉपिक्स कवर करेंगे उसमें, वो भी यहाँ पे आपको दिख रहा है. So first, market outlook for 2025 in commodities. So quickly, एक like major points क्या क्या है वो तो discuss कर लेंगे as per the report. So the global volatility to keep precious metals in limelight. So primarily यहाँ पे आपको 5 points दिख रहे होंगे for gold, silver, crude, copper, aluminium. So as we discuss different commodities in all these sessions, तो आपको by default एक एक commodity का उसका मेजर न्यूज क्या है उसको वो माइंड में आ जाना चाहिए. इट हैज टू बी लाइक दैट एंड वी इंटेंड टू डू दैट टू यू. फॉर एग्जांपल गोल्ड, वी से दैट गोल्ड इज टू राइज टुवर्ड्स 85,000 on strong central bank buying and trade war concerns. So this central bank buying is particularly for gold. So this has direct impact for gold, right? So demand बढ़ाने वाला चीज है. And then if you look at silver, it is expected to rally towards 1,10,000 per kilogram on market deficit and industrial demand. So silver ka we have been seeing the major fundamental news is market deficit that is going on since the last few years. So that will be the primary point for silver. Crude prices may move south on market surplus. The crude is on market surplus primarily. Copper likely to slip towards 690 rupees on demand concerns. So copper and other base metals primarily आपको based on China's economic outlook और China's performance उसके हिसाब से base metals का impact ज़्यादा रहता है. And also aluminium prices may rise towards 280 on market deficit. Okay. So all these points we will elaborate in the upcoming pages. Like what are all these central bank buyings? मतलब कितना है? Trade war concerns क्यों आया है? What is the market deficit that's going on with silver? What is the demand? What are the demand sectors for silver? Why is crude oil in surplus? These are points we will go ahead go through in the next upcoming pages. So उसमें पहले हम देखेंगे इस रिपोर्ट में what is the synopsis for 2024? What had actually happened in 2024? It's a quick single page run. तो ये simultaneously जब मैं ये points read करूंगा, आप simultaneously बार ग्राफ देख लीजिए. What is the price movements? What are the returns of the major commodities that we have seen in the year 2024? So when I say 2024, it's calendar year 2024. तो gold prices rallied sharply in 2024. हमको पता था last अक्टूबर में $2790 hit हुआ था gold, all time high price. Gold and silver both had hit the all time prices. तो कब हुआ था? आफ्टर when US Fed reduced rates by 100 bips after long time Fed rates come किया था. Then later we saw presidential elections happening, Trump's win. Then we saw prices going down from the all-time highs. And also because of the geopolitical tensions. उसके अलावा base metal prices तो towards the end of the year they settled positively, hoping that China is coming out with more economic stimulus. But we need to see आगे जाके कितना और support मिलेगा China's economic stimuluses के through. But on the other hand, domestic front अगर आप देखोगे, rupee has also been depreciating, which helped prices to gain higher. Even today we can see all-time low of price, like even now I could see 85.98 कुछ hit हुआ था, right? So rupee had also been depreciating, which is supporting the commodity prices to go up. And then we also saw for crude oil, it was an eventful year. Like oil prices ended here on a positive note on the geopolitical tensions which are constantly going on. But of course, the Israel-Hamas tension तो कुछ ceasefire news हमने देखे थे towards the end of 2024. But yeah, finally, while demand concerns from China capped the sharp upside in prices for crude oil. So basically, this is what we saw in the last calendar year, towards the end, what we saw. Yeah, so this was just the synopsis for 2024. Going ahead, we will see for 2025, for the calendar year 25, what are all the factors that we need to look at, which will determine the commodity prices movements. So primarily आपको रहेगा easing inflation. So major economies of the world, US हो गया, European regions, China, Bank of England, तो ये सब multiple countries में, multiple economies में inflations बढ़ रहा था, because of which we saw rise in the interest rates primarily, right? So after a long time, we have been towards the end of 24, we saw rate cuts coming in from different major economies, right? So that would result only in case of easing inflations. So we should see how much easing inflations, मतलब वो central banks के targets reach हो रहे हैं क्या inflation easing, वो check करना है. And we also need to see what are the rate cut expectations for different economies. So US is not so sure about at what pace the rate cuts has to be done. But Baki other central banks, they are okay with their own pace of rate cuts. So we need to see which economies in what mindset with respect to rate cuts, interest rate cuts. Then there is a strong dollar index which has been shooting up now after Trump's win. So this has some impact from the US presidential elections. There is also this trade war risk, and then there is also geopolitical tensions that are still going on in the Middle East, in the Eastern Europe area. So, but all these primarily हम देखें तो after Trump's win in the US presidential elections, we saw a lot of price movements in the commodities, particularly gold and silver have been brought down from their all-time highs. So we are expecting, we're just waiting for Trump to assume office in on Jan 20th, so that he will give us more clarity on his policies, like what are his trade policies, what are his immigration policies, how is he going to do the taxations, and what will be the tariffs. उन्होंने तो बताया कि 10% tariff on all imports and as high as 60% tariffs on China's imports करके ऐसे बोले थे. So the prices, all the prices are going on based on those assumptions. So once he takes chair and gives clarity on all his policies, we will get more clarity on how the prices would go ahead, right? So even Fed would decide how to take ahead the rate cut expectations. But these points we will go ahead one on one now, one by one now. So we can see this easing inflation happening across major countries, that is Europe, US, UK. Up different economies ka dekhoge towards end of 22 or 23, the beginning 23, we could see inflations reaching higher points in different economies. But they have been cooling down towards end of 24. तो ऐसे रेट कट एक्सपेक्टेशंस भी हम मल्टीपल इकोनॉमीज से देख रहे हैं एंड वी आल्सो सी स्ट्रेंथनिंग ऑफ द डॉलर इंडेक्स टुवर्ड्स द एंड ऑफ नवंबर. सो नवंबर में वी कैन सी दिस हाइक इन द डॉलर इंडेक्स post Trump's win. So what we see is in the coming year, we expect US core inflation to remain above Fed's target. The US Fed's target है कि US core inflation को 2% तक लेके आने. That is the target according to them. But it is expected that it might not reach 2%. Assuming that Trump's policies will be inflationary, but still, while in Europe, inflation is likely to move below the central bank's target. So the major central bank across the globe are expected to continue with this monetary easing. So Fed छोड़ के बाकी major economies है, major central banks है, they are thinking to go ahead with the usual the thought monetary easing. So जितना interest rates कम करने के लिए उन्होंने सोचा, they are going to follow the same pace, but not the case with Fed. Just waiting for Trump's clarity on the on his policies. The US Fed is likely to adopt cautious stance and reduce the pace of rate cut. So while ECB is expected to continue using with same pace and cut rates below 2%. So Trump presidency will herald period of strong dollar as policies on immigration, tax, trade and tax would spur inflation. So inflationary policies आएंगे बोल के, that is one fear that we have. So moreover, major US trading partners face high risk of higher tariffs, hurting economies' growth and widening their interest rate differentials with US, which is supporting the dollar prices or the dollar index to go up. तो उसके अलावा we have this risk of trade war with the China's economy, which is between US and China. So ये different countries का आप देख सकते हो growth forecast, like what had been the growth in the previous years and what is the forecast now. 2024 and 25 का forecast अगर आप देखोगे, the world as a whole is stagnant, like there's a 3.2% growth. US 2.8%, it is expected to go only 2.2%. But the fastest growing economy that the last two bars अगर आप देखोगे, India 6.5% ranges में है, which is the growth forecast. The geopolitical tensions, ये एक GPR index है. This shows that different geopolitical events कैसे हाइक्स स्पाइक्स आ रहे हैं. इधर 9/11 अटैक हो गया in 2002 and then during the invasion of Ukraine, the recent Middle East conflicts. So this might also again spike during if there any trade war occurs in the future also. So the global economy had been at the standard pace of 3.2%, but still there was low inflation. The inflation was settling down. There was steady employment growth and continuous monetary easing too towards the end of 24. But we still look that there can be elevated geopolitical tensions in the Eastern Europe and Middle East regions. But other than that, as Trump had been saying, that he would impose 10% tariffs on all countries and 60% or more on goods from China specifically, that we will have to confirm once he assumes office. Then economic growth of China is likely to witness slowdown, underpinned by resumption of trade war and prolonged housing downturn. जो primarily base metal का जो outlook है, it will depend primarily on the China's economic state. Like going ahead, even if this trade war situation happens with China and US, that will again have an impact on the commodity prices also. So that's something we'll have to have a look at. So second, then after this, we'll get into the bullion outlook, gold and silver outlook for the year 2025. So बुलियन आउटलुक बोल दे फर्स्ट कुछ पॉइंट्स हमको आएगा एक तो ट्रेड वॉर कंसर्न्स व्हिच विल ऑटोमेटिकली पुल अप द सेफ हेवन प्राइसेस बोथ गोल्ड एंड सिल्वर देन वन मेजर पॉइंट डिमांड फ्रॉम सेंट्रल बैंक्स विद रिस्पेक्ट टू गोल्ड राइट सो वो भी हमको देखना है देन रिड्यूस्ड पेस ऑफ रेट कट्स दिस विद रिस्पेक्ट टू फेड US Fed and then there is a silver deficit point that we will discuss. So let's get into detail now. So it says trade war concerns may stir up demand for safe haven. So at any point of time, gold and silver के लिए being a safe haven asset, there is a constant push for these both commodities to for these commodity prices to go up. So that's what the first point says here. And along with these heightened geopolitical tensions, उसके अलावा the major central banks after Trump's win, जब all-time high से gold and silver नीचे आया था, immediately the central banks have also started buying in the months of October, in the months of October, November, December, etc. So itna central bank buying ho hi raha tha us time. There is also geopolitical tension which is continuing in the Eastern Europe area. Additionally, central banks are lying to continue with the buying spree. They are continue to increase their gold reserves. A strong dollar and rise in US Treasury is the only point that may act as a headwind. Headwind, yani, which might act against the commodity, the gold and silver prices. A very strong dollar and rise in US Treasury yields may give some headwinds to the gold prices. But Trump's proposed policies are inflationary in nature, which would limit Fed from cutting rates. So this is the current assumption right now. So we can see central demand from central banks going up. We can see demands from different sectors, jewel and tech fabrication, central bank investments, other investments, all demands going up with respect to gold. And the top central bank gold purchase has also been higher in different countries, in the different major countries, in China or in India, in Turkey. So this red line indicates the gold purchase since 2022 in tons. So China 258 tons ka total gold had purchased since 2022, and we had purchased 80 tons since 2022, and 868 tons is what our reserve India currently holds. If I'm not wrong, it could be as high as 890 also by today. So it says that global central banks purchased 186 tons, the global central banks all put together in the last quarter, October, November, and December. So totally 186 tons of gold were actually bought in the last quarter, which is lesser than compared to the same quarter last year, but still looked healthy. Moreover, central banks have purchased 694 tons the same period in 22. So looking at the current situation, central bank will continue to add. वो constantly buy करते रहेंगे even in the coming year also is what being expected. Even China central bank had also bought gold after a 6 month pause. 6 months के बाद उन्होंने भी add किया है gold to their reserves by adding 5 tons of gold and taking up their reserves to 2,269 tons of gold with China currently. So we also see fresh investment demand to kick in 2025 with respect to gold. So यहाँ पे with respect to investment demand, you can see this graph at the bottom. Inflows likely to continue in gold ETFs. So in gold ETFs, we saw inflows for 6 consecutive months till October, turning holdings positive as investors flock to safe haven asset amid geopolitical tensions. So the last 6 months, जो calendar year 2024 में थे, these geopolitical tensions हो गया, prices constantly going up, reaching all-time highs. So there was more inflow into these gold ETFs from the domestic market. Right, and dollar has also started gaining steam and is likely to rise further as Trump policies on trade and immigration could spur inflation in the crumbling Fed's ability to cut rates with higher magnitude. So वो in turn Fed rates को भी इतना easily cut करने नहीं देगा. So they will reduce the pace of rate cut. So that's what this graph shows here. So we can see a 4.5% rates till May 2025, and we are just expecting in the month of June to go down by 25 bips to 4.25. And that will again continue, and only in the month of December, we will see another 25 bips rate cut. So based on this, we are only seeing only two rate cuts, each 25 bips only, with respect to US Fed in the calendar year 2025. So that was with respect to gold. And with respect to silver, as we say, if it goes up as high as 1,10,000 per kilogram, what would be the primary reason? Primarily would be due to rising industrial demand. But इसके अलावा one major thing we'll have to see, the major chart में दिखाना चाह रहा था, is the demand expected to surpass supplies for fourth year. So if you are aware, last 4 years से चार साल से silver had been in deficit. So you can see this chart in 2021. So this gray candle shows supply and this blue candle shows demand. So demand is more than the supply. It had started since 2021. It had continued 2022 May. It was too much of market balance. ये red line आपको market balance बताएगा. And even in 2024, it had closed with a, the supplies have been less only with respect to the demand. So you can see the market balance has been going negative. That's the case with respect to silver. So in this case, primarily, it is only going to support the prices while alongside the industrial demand is rising. So the industrial demand, if you see across segments, the chart below, the industrial segment is rising. The net physical investment demand is also rising. The photography, jewelry, and silverware demand is also rising. We can see the global silver market is projected to see another deficit in 24, marking fourth consecutive year. The demand for jewelry and silverware is projected to rise by 5% in 2024. India been key growth contributor after cut in import duty, whereas physical investment forecast to fall in 2024 by 15%. However, in the coming year, fresh investment demand is expected to rise due to buoyant safe haven demand. So ऊपर देखोगे तो even mine production is also expected to remain flat. But the demand is continuing to rise from different sectors. So even compared to gold, silver seems to have a higher industrial demand. So what that indicates is the gold silver ratio जो रहता है, it is expected to slip back to 80. So what is gold silver ratio? It is just simply gold price divided by silver price for any particular quantity. So let's take 1 kilogram gold price divided by silver price, calculate करोगे. So it will show you what is the gold silver ratio. So if gold silver ratio is coming down, that means silver is running more faster than gold. Silver is getting more positive impact than gold. So the demand for silver in industrial segment is expected to grow by 7% this year, surpassing 700 million ounces for the first time. तो सिल्वर का अगर आप प्राइमरी रिक्वायरमेंट्स देखोगे, यहाँ पे डिमांड इसमें दिखा है. तो photovoltaics, what particularly photovoltaics means is photovoltaics nothing but आप लाइट को इलेक्ट्रिसिटी में कन्वर्ट करोगे, नथिंग विद द सोलर पैनल का कॉन्सेप्ट ही है. So that's what photovoltaics means. तो उसमें प्राइमरीली सिल्वर का रिक्वायरमेंट रहता है. उसके अलावा then there is also electronic requirements like every smartphone or laptop, smartwatches, TVs. So everywhere on all these locations you will see silver being utilized, right? So ऐसे multiple segments में, multiple industrial segments में silver demand is constantly rising. So एक तरफ से डिमांड सप्लाई भी कम होते जा रहा है. There has been no enough supplies, and the demand is also going up from different sectors other than the safe havens demand. So that was with respect to silver. अगर आप energy के अंदर देखोगे, crude oil and natural gas, if we look at crude oil is expected to remain under pressure amid market surplus. So मतलब crude oil is to have a market surplus currently, like market is expected to remain in surplus next year despite of OPEC plus members delayed the प्रोडक्शन इंक्रीज. हम लास्ट 4 सेशंस में हमने ये डिस्कस किए थे कि क्रूड ऑयल में दे आर गोइंग टू ब्रिंग अप प्रोडक्शन इंक्रीज from the OPEC plus members, right? But which had been constantly postponed हो रहा था every month, and finally April month के लिए postpone कर दिए थे. So एक तो already production increase को postpone कर दिया, but still there has been enough surplus. So that is the reason why the production increase was been postponed, right? And additionally, OPEC is also sitting on sizable spare production capacity. तो एक बार हम supply demand graph यहाँ पे देख लेंगे. Fundamentals pivoting to oversupply. Why are we saying that crude oil is in surplus in 2025? You can see this, you can follow this red line, which shows the market balance. It is mostly on the positive side only, right? It is mostly on the positive side. Even abhi to 2025 expectation, it is just above zero. So it is on the positive side only. So which says there is more of supply compared to demand. So ये जो gray bar है, there is the world oil demand in million barrels per day, and this blue bar is the world oil supply in million barrels per day. Also, if you see the bottom graph, the sky blue color indicates OPEC plus production. The dark blue indicates US production, and the gray area indicates Russia's production. So comparatively, US production and Russia's production आप compare करोगे, you put together is more than the OPEC production. So that's what one more point is being mentioned, that OPEC plus the countries other than OPEC are contributing to more production of crude oil compared to the OPEC's production. So crude oil market is expected to remain in surplus next year, despite of OPEC plus members delaying the production increase until 25. The growth in oil production next year will come mostly from non-OPEC countries. So even though OPEC countries का कम ही लग रहा है compared to US and Russia's production put together. So in 2025, the surplus is going to be because of production from the non-OPEC countries. So market is expected to show the surplus of more than 0.5 million barrels per day in 2025. So just above zero that we had seen in the graph here. So OPEC Plus is also planning to increase supply at a slower pace. The group may take 18 months to return the supply of 2.2 million barrels per day of voluntary output cut. OPEC Plus also extended 3.65 million barrels per day cuts until end of 2026. So अभी US Donald Trump friendly oil policies could boost oil production in US. It may even help to increase production beyond projections. US crude oil is forecast to grow record high of 13.5 million barrels per day in 2025. So these are some numbers for you. Other than this, there is one major issue with respect to uncertain outlook for Chinese economy, which is slowing down the demand. So crude oil ka one of the major consumers after US or Russia is China. So with a slowing down economy of China, the demand will also be coming down. So crude oil ka demand bhi kam ho jayega, base metals ka demand bhi kam ho jayega, which is pulling down the prices, or which is expected to do so. So we can also see one more chart below, the rising inventories to hurt crude prices, which is shows how the inventory is going up for crude, which is bringing down the crude oil prices. So as per EIA, Energy Information Association, global oil inventories will fall 0.7 MBPD in the first quarter amid extension of OPEC plus cuts. And China's crude oil demand is likely to slow down next year. One of the major points amid uncertain look for China's economy as real estate and construction downturn continues to drag the economy. So additionally, the potential trade war in Donald Trump's second term will have negative impact on the economic growth. So this is one major point that I've been mentioning from the beginning. So in 2024, exports have worked as main source of growth for Chinese economy, and increased tariffs will damage that recovery. So China said there are many important raw materials. For example, USK toys and the sports equipments ka primary import share is from China. US का electronics like mobiles, smartphones, laptops, उसका भी raw materials का primary import share is from China. So there are a lot of US in fact has a dependency on Chinese goods for their raw materials. But जिसके ऊपर tariffs भी लगने वाला as high as 60% that Trump has been saying. But we surely will have to wait till Trump assumes office so that we will be sure on how much actual tariffs will be imposed or not. Then another point with respect to crude oil's prices is this Strait of Hormuz. This is one region जहाँ से आपको oil transport ज़्यादा होगा. Okay, so particular यहाँ पे हम देख सकते हैं due to MN based Houthi attacks on ship transits in Red Sea. Uh, uh, Sorry, this is with respect to Cape of Good Hope. Yeah, as soon as Donald Trump takes the chair, there is a high possibility that he would enforce oil sanctions on Iran, putting supply at risk, but it would help OPEC countries to increase output more comfortably. So where does this uh, Strait of Hormuz, ये जो red area देखोगे, 20% of global consumption of oil comes through the Strait of Hormuz only. तो मैं यहाँ पे या ये मैप में देख लीजिए, this region is the Strait of Hormuz. As you can see here, तो ये this region, ये पर्शियन गल्फ से जो भी आपको ऑयल एक्सपोर्ट होगा, दिस एरिया जहाँ से ईरान, इराक, कुवैत, सऊदी अरेबिया, ये सब रीजन से आपको जो ऑयल ट्रांसफर होगा, इट विल हैव टू पास थ्रू दिस स्ट्रेट ऑफ हॉर्मुज, राइट? सो दिस बिकॉज ऑफ Trump's sanctions on Iran, this will have an impact on the Strait of Hormuz. अगर ये impact कर देंगे, so then Iran will have a chance to block the Strait of Hormuz, which will impact the 20% of global oil supply. So that can act as one of the reasons for prices to support crude oil prices, but otherwise it is in a surplus only. So next we quickly will go to the copper prices, the gold base metal prices. Copper prices may dip on demand concerns from China. So when we talk about base metals, primarily the demand will have to come from the Chinese economy, or the major demanding country being China. That will have a major impact on the demand zones. So copper prices are likely to remain under pressure on demand concerns from China. Chinese economy is already facing weak domestic consumption amid prolonged property crisis and deflation fears. So Donald Trump victory has added more concerns with the threat of tariffs on Chinese products. उसके सो सम रीजंस अगर आप देखोगे, रैंप अप इन कैपेसिटी एट माइंस इन डीआर कॉन्गो, तो एक तो हमको डिमांड फ्रॉम चाइना इज आल्सो कमिंग डाउन, बट ऑन द अदर हैंड in this chart you can see this yellow bars going up. Yellow bars is nothing but the mine capacities at Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. So the number of mines which extract copper is also going up comparatively. So एक तरफ से demand भी कम हो रहा है, but on the other hand you can also see output also going up. So these two are also acting up to fear that there will be a surplus of commodity of copper particularly. ये लास्ट पॉइंट यहाँ पे अगर आप देखोगे, इट आल्सो सेज दैट even the inventories at LME, the London Metal Exchange registered warehouses, continue to pile up. Copper stocks held at the major metal exchanges remain elevated, signaling well supplied market. So there is a well supplied market. The output is ramping up. There are new mines coming up to produce copper, but the overall demand has been low, has been staying low. So until and unless China comes out with more economic stimulus, more than expected economic stimulus, the copper prices will remain cool down. So that is what the major takeaway we can have. And also there is this looming US tariffs that would threaten the economic growth. So China's refined copper production is on rise as country continue to expand capacity despite of lower profits, heading for another record high outputs this year. So other than the new copper mining happening from the mines, extraction happening from the mines, there is also refined copper production, which is going at a faster pace in China. Right. So moreover, China's copper imports improved amid drop in commodity prices. So China has released slew of stimulus measures in 2024, towards the end of 2024, including rate cuts and target support for real estate sector, but so far has failed to impact meaningfully on demand. So even though there had been stimulus measures given out by China in year 2024, it were not sufficient enough as much as expected. Moreover, any new stimulus measures impact on demand will depend totally on strength and speed of rollout. So the economic growth in China is likely to witness slowdown underpinned by resumption of trade war and prolonged housing downturn. US President Donald Trump plans to import tariffs of 60% or more on goods from China. So this is one major point that we have been constantly talking about or looking at in the future. So additionally, aluminum, lead and zinc का भी you'll be able to go through the report. ये report का link आपको नीचे description में भी मिल जाएगा. You can go through that link and look out for other base metals also. And after this, I just wanted to discuss one more point. So ये होने के बाद the Trump 1.0 synopsis. So what had actually happened in the Trump's first session or during his first tenure, the previous tenure, which is making us assume that his policies are going to be inflationary. So ये भी आपको यहाँ पे एक timeline आपको दिख जाएगा वहाँ पे in the report. So I'd request you to go through it. What were all the actions, what were all the tariffs that were put by US on different times on Chinese imports particularly. Right. So that was mostly with respect to the report, the research report for CY 2025. I request you to download the report from the description below and go through the report in detail. So other than that, कुछ points which are not completely covered in the research report. हम last session में हम देखे थे एक Fed's hawkish stance for 2025. Hawkish in the sense the rate cuts will not be as much as expected. Maybe there can be only 2 rate cuts each of 25 basis points in calendar year 2025. This assuming that the Trump's policies would be inflationary. So we will still get more clarity on after Trump assuming office. उसके अलावा we got on 6th of January the global central bank gold reserves data हमको मिला था from World Gold Council website. They had come out with this. They had particularly come out with what are the different gold reserves. कितने tons कौन से major economies, major countries के पास है करके that come out with the report. You can also access this report from the World Gold Council's database. So India का अगर आप particularly देखोगे, it says how much gold reserves in tons it has, 853 tons as of, and this report was on 6th January 2025. So but in the last quarter, in the last 2 months, that is October and November and December, तो उस टाइम में इंडिया कितना खरीदा था, कितना गोल्ड लिया था, that we can see from this Excel sheet that I downloaded from this same report. So we can see this India, this row here. So on different months, how much gold had been bought. So ये last October and November में आप देखोगे 14 and 8, 22.5 tons totally. Sirf October and November में India had purchased 22.5. But if you look in the previous months of the last year, so from April to September, in the last 6 months, India had bought 31 tons, but only in the last 2 months, that is October and November, India had bought 22.5 tons. Right. So that was how the gold buying spree happened in multiple countries by multiple countries towards the end of calendar year 2024. So that was with respect to the global central banks gold reserves. So this data again mentioning, you will find it from the World Gold Council's websites from their database. Other than that, there was one more news that we got that regarding the custom duties on gold. If you remember, during the last in the last session, Nirmala Sitharaman का एक point आया था कि they slashed the duties to 6% from 15% in the previous budget. So in the previous budget sessions, which happened in July 2024, for the year 25, it was mentioned that from 15%, the duties were brought down to 6% with respect to gold. But the reason for that, why it was brought down, was to improve the domestic manufacturing value. But instead क्या हो गया था, imports the next month, July में ये rate cut हुआ था, and in the month of August, you can see that the imports raised by 104%. That is $10 billion value of gold was imported into India. But simultaneously, the gems and jewelry exports contracted by 23%. While it should have supported the exports also simultaneously, instead the exports contracted and only the demand raised and only the imports raised. So imports raised by 104%, 4%, but the exports contracted by 23%. So $10 billion value of gold is being imported, but only $2 billion value of gold is being exported. So what is actually happening? Internal consumption, the domestic consumption for gold has increased. So that तो basically वो सब dispute हो गया individual houses में. तो इतना गोल्ड हम इंडियंस ने कंज्यूम कर लिया इन दिस लास्ट 1 year. So that was the major reason to again think about these duties, whether to increase these prices again or not. So in the month of February, when Sitaraman, when the finance minister would come into the news again, there will be a news again. There might be a news again on this duties on gold, which may or may not go up. So that was one point I just wanted to highlight here. So uske alawa, most of these points that we discussed today, we will get clarity on these, like whether tariffs आएंगे, how Fed will take ahead their rate cuts, at what pace they will take up the rate cuts, how the relationship that the trade war रहेंगे क्या, trade relationships कैसे रहेगा, and how US and China trade relationship रहेगा. So all these points we will be able to understand once Trump will assume office on 20th Jan. So after that, the session after that, we'll have more details to for us to discuss with you. So with that, I will give the stage to Anup to take it up with the charts. Anup, over to you.
Yeah. Hi, good evening, everyone. Okay. Last week we have seen like good movement in gold and silver, even crude. Crude has also moved up. So let's see what we can expect in the coming days, like in a short time. We can see through the charts how charts are indicating. Okay, just a second. We have discussed about yeah, this is the silver chart. Last time I think we have mentioned कि 87,000 86,000 के आसपास सपोर्ट है, थोड़ा रिकवरी आ सकती है, हम लोगों ने ये डिस्कस किया था. आई थिंक पीपल हैव आस्क्ड आल्सो सर शॉर्ट टर्म व्यू किस में है, तो बोलिए. सो आई हैव रिकमेंडेड क्रूड, कॉपर एंड सिल्वर, 3 कमोडिटी रिकमेंड किए थे. सो अगर गोइंग अहेड अगर देखेंगे, आप देखिए ये सिल्वर 87,000 के आसपास मल्टीपल सपोर्ट्स है इन एमसीएक्स, और ये रिकवरी हुई है. एंड अगर ये पार्ट को आप देखेंगे, इट इज अ काइंड ऑफ डबल बॉटम फॉर्मेशन है. एंड इट लुक्स लाइक रैली यहाँ से और होनी चाहिए. एंड टिल या टिल 80 टिल 93 तक के आसपास वी कैन सी दैट. ओके, टिल 93 600 ऐसे लेवल्स तक मैं ज्यादा से ज्यादा आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग अप टू दैट लेवल्स, ये आ सकता है. ओके, एंड गोल्ड का हम देखेंगे तो गोल्ड इज यस, गोल्ड इज स्टिल पॉजिटिविटी है, बट मेरे हिसाब से वही ऊपर के रेंज होने चाहिए 79,000 के आसपास, 79 या फिर 79 400 500 इसके आसपास ही होना चाहिए. ओके, फ्रॉम दोज लेवल्स फिर से करेक्शन आएगा. तो ये जो कल के एक नंबर है यूएस के जॉब नंबर जो है, वो थोड़ा मार्केट उसके लिए ही मोमेंटम है नहीं. सो वंस वी गेट द जॉब नंबर्स ऑफ यूएस, आफ्टर दैट वी कैन सी वोलेटिलिटी. पॉइंट इज दैट मैं ये क्यों कह रहा हूँ, क्योंकि डॉलर इंडेक्स अभी भी 109 पे यानी हाई पे है, और गोल्ड प्राइसेस स्टिल ऊपर ही है. हालांकि ऐसे होना चाहिए कि गोल्ड प्राइसेस में करेक्शन होना चाहिए, जो कि नहीं हुआ है. ओके, सो आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग टू लाइक थोड़ा मूव आएगा, बट ऊपर में फिर से सेलिंग आ जानी चाहिए. ओके, सो 79,000 से लेके ऊपर का रेंज पकड़ के चलिए आप ऊपर में, एंड ऑन द डाउन साइड 76,000 या फिर 75,500. दिस इज द ब्रॉड रेंज, यही होना चाहिए गोल्ड सिल्वर के लिए. Crude, let's see the charts of crude, how it has moved. देखिए ये तो बहुत ही रेंज में था, हम जैसे बात कर रहे थे. ये आप देख सकते हैं क्रूड का ये चार्ट है. एंड दिस हैज ब्रोकन आउट. ये जो फॉर्मेशन था ट्राइंगल का, ये ब्रेकआउट हुआ है 6100 के ऊपर, एंड देयर हैज बीन अ रैली. हाँ, एंड यू कैन सी दैट 6500 का लेवल अभी के लिए बहुत ही क्रूशियल है। 6500 का जो लेवल है, 6500 के ऊपर चलेगा तो फिर नई तेजी आएगी, अदरवाइज वी कैन एक्सपेक्ट सम करेक्शन। ओके, फ्रॉम हियर आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग करेक्शन टिल 6100 भी पकड़ सकते हो आप, अंटिल अनलेस 6500 ब्रेक्स। जो नियर टर्म का सिनेरियो है, यूएस के इन्वेंट्री कम हो रहे थे लास्ट 6-7 टाइम से, बट गैसोलीन के जो स्टॉक्स है वो बढ़ रहे थे। ओके, सो उसकी वजह से प्राइसेस में तेजी हुआ है। और दूसरा चीज है, रशियन जो सप्लाईज है वो भी कम हुए हैं। जो फ्लोटिंग ऑयल्स है उसकी वजह से सप्लाई इश्यूज थोड़े हुए हैं, उसकी वजह से प्राइसेस ऊपर है। बट चाइना से कुछ अगर स्टिमुलस नहीं आता है, और कुछ अगर नंबर्स खराब आते हैं, तो देन देयर विल बी प्रॉब्लम। और मेरा ऐसा मानना है कि इमीडिएट जितना सप्लाई इश्यूज था, प्राइसेस हैज ऑलरेडी फैक्टर्ड इन, और यहाँ से एक छोटा मोटा करेक्शन जैसा आना चाहिए। नेक्स्ट आई थिंक नेचुरल गैस, लेट्स सी। नेचुरल गैस हम लोगों ने तो लास्ट टाइम देखा था कि तेजी हो गया, बट प्राइस ऊपर में टिका नहीं। ओके, अभी भी सेम व्यू है। मेरे हिसाब से 295 96 से लेके 320 25 का ये छोटा रेंज है, मतलब ये नेक्स्ट 1 और 2 डे के लिए आप रेंज मान सकते हो। आप देख सकते हैं 295 के आसपास कंटिन्यूअसली सपोर्ट ले रहा है ये। ओके, 295 294 के आसपास कंटिन्यूअसली सपोर्ट ले रहा है। अगर ये 325 के ऊपर चलेगा तो हम फिर से 350 का लेवल देखेंगे। बट अभी विंटर्स के जो ये देखिए, जैसे हमको पता है ये वेदर कमोडिटी है। सो अगर वेदर में कुछ चेंजेस आती है यूएस में, जो कोल्ड अभी जैसा इफेक्ट है कम हो जाता है फोरकास्ट, वेदर फोरकास्ट, सो वी विल नॉट सी दैट काइंड ऑफ बुलिश रैली और बुलिश मोमेंटम इन गैस प्राइसेस। इसके लिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ नेचुरल गैस में अगर किसी का भी लॉन्ग पोजीशन है, आई वुड रिकमेंड टू मेंटेन ए स्टॉप ऑफ 295। थोड़ा और सेफर साइड जाएंगे तो 290 का स्टॉप रखना जरूरी है। ऊपर मिलेगा देन बुक इट। ओके, आपको 320 तक दिखता है तो प्राइस बुक करिए, एंड बाहर शुड मूव आउट ऑफ दिस। ओके, कॉपर, कॉपर का देखते हैं। कॉपर देखिए, सी इट हैज ऑलरेडी रैलिड, एंड जैसे हम देखा था कि 290 से इट हैज मूव्ड टिल 320, सॉरी 790 से 825 830 के आसपास भी मूव हो चुका है। इसमें भी एक अच्छा फॉर्मेशन था इन बिटवीन, एक डबल बॉटम फॉर्मेशन था, ब्रेकआउट हुआ, एंड 830 के आसपास इसका टारगेट था, जो कि ऑलमोस्ट आ गया। अभी इसमें तेजी कब रहेगी, जब 836 के ऊपर चलेगा तो ही तेजी रहेगी, नहीं तो मेरे हिसाब से इन नेक्स्ट वीक आपको 830 से 835 का रेंज हिट होके फिर से करेक्शन होना चाहिए। Okay, so this is all about the basic commodities. Arvind, anybody has any questions, they can ask me.
Yeah, primarily crude. Can we discuss crude? Crude करके आ रहा था, so
Okay,
just waiting for you to cover crude.
okay. Crude, okay. Crude, see, I have just mentioned, आप अगर देखेंगे क्रूड तो सेम 6500 के लेवल्स नहीं ब्रेक होंगे तो करेक्शन होने चाहिए। अगर आप नाइमेक्स के भी देखेंगे तो $75 और $77, ये जो दो लेवल्स है, इस पे 75 के आसपास सबसे ज्यादा ओपन इंटरेस्ट है कॉल साइड पे। सो रेजिस्टेंस तो मेजर वही है, 75 77 ये लेवल्स है। ओके, सबसे मेजर रेजिस्टेंस आएगा $80 का, जो कि मेरे हिसाब से बहुत दूर है। दैट्स वाई मैं अभी के लिए 6500 ही मेंशन कर रहा हूँ। और एक दो दिन में कल जैसा करेक्शन हुआ है प्राइसेस में, आप देख सकते हैं ये क्रूड का जो चार्ट है, इसमें देयर इज अ फॉर्मेशन ऑफ अ बेरिश एंगल्फिंग पैटर्न है। सो इट इंडिकेट्स कि थोड़ा बहुत करेक्शन हो सकता है यहाँ से। ओके, आप देख सकते हैं।
So if we go short in crude, what will be the stop loss?
ओके, सो सी 6500 का ही आपका स्टॉप होना चाहिए अगर कोई भी शॉर्ट कर रहा है, या फिर 6490 के ऊपर का स्टॉप रख के भी आप कर सकते हैं। ये 6300 चल रहा है। कंफर्मेशन के लिए अगर थोड़ा किसको वेट करना है, तो आज अगर 6275 के नीचे क्लोजिंग आती है, ओके, तो हाई कन्विक्शन है कि देयर विल बी करेक्शन, या फिर आप थोड़ा रुक के थोड़ा ऊपर आए तो वेट करके बेच के कर सकते हैं। बट जो भी बेचेंगे, आई वुड स्ट्रिक्ट रेकमेंड 6500 के स्टॉप लॉस रखिएगा।
Yeah, understood.
या
Next commodity जा सकते हैं.
और कोई किस पे एनीबॉडी वांट्स टू आस्क?
There was one on, I think one on copper.
ओके, कॉपर, सी कॉपर हैज रैलीड ऑलमोस्ट, सो आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग, अभी देखिए छोटा मूव, यू नो वी आर, आई एम जस्ट सेइंग फॉर द पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू फॉर अ 1 वीक ओनली, बिकॉज नेक्स्ट वीक अगेन वी विल मीट। सो फ्रॉम हियर आई वुड से 834 या 835 के लेवल से मैं बोलूंगा, अगर उसके ऊपर चलेगा तो फिर नया तेजी करेंगे। until unless if you are holding long positions, then try to book your profits near around 830-35 and move out of this market. And अगर in between 820 के नीचे ट्रेड होता है तो फिर हम थोड़ा फिर से करेक्शन देखेंगे 806 या 807 के लेवल तक।
Okay, noted. How to view silver futures continuous chart in app or desktop? इसमें कोई भी वेबसाइट में या मोबाइल एप्लीकेशन में एनी एनी कमोडिटी ब्रोकर का वेबसाइट या मोबाइल एप्लीकेशन में आप सिल्वर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऐड करके यू कैन सी द चार्ट ऑप्शन if it is available there. And also more clarity next week में आप ask us anything on commodities सेशन में ऐड ज्वाइन हो जाइए, तो इसमें बाय शेयरिंग आवर स्क्रीन आईसीआईसीआई डायरेक्ट प्लेटफॉर्म में कैसा है वो भी दिखा देंगे. How to place trade orders based on recommendations on the website. Yeah, if you are asking about ICICI, एक specific page रहेगा trading ideas और I click to gain करके you can filter out commodity recommendations there and you can follow the CTA given there. Buy or sell CTA वहीं पे दिया रहेगा, so you can follow that CTA. And what is the zinc target for today, Anup?
जिंक, ओके, जिंक का
Yeah.
पूछ रहे हैं, ओके, जिंक देख लेते हैं।
After zinc, aluminium भी cover कर दीजिए.
ओके, ओके,
Yeah.
फाइन। सी जिंक ऑलरेडी तो एक फॉल हो गया, बट मेरे हिसाब से ये 268 के जो लेवल्स है होल्ड होने चाहिए और थोड़ा रिकवरी आनी चाहिए यहाँ से, ओके। एंड 277 तक हम फिर से देख सकते हैं, बट जो भी पोजीशन रहेगा जिसका भी, आई वुड से ये जो लाइक 260 या 268 के नीचे का स्टॉप रख के ही ट्रेड कीजिए। सी अभी फंडामेंटल अगर जिंक का देखेंगे तो कुछ इतना ज्यादा पॉजिटिव नहीं है, ओके। सप्लाईज में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, इन्वेंट्रीज भी है, सो वी डोंट एक्सपेक्ट कुछ ज्यादा लाइक तेजी हो जाए, वैसा है। यहाँ से देखिए ऑलमोस्ट आप सोचिए कि 290 से 270 268 आ गया है, तो एक फेज ऑफ, देयर विल बी ए फेज ऑफ रिकवरी। और जो ये वीक में जो नंबर्स आएंगे, ये अभी कल या परसों 2 दिन में चाइना के नंबर से, एंड उसके जो न्यू होम सेल्स के नंबर से कुछ, और जैसे आज इन्फ्लेशन के नंबर्स आए, ओके, तो वो इंडिकेट करता है कि फ्रॉम चाइना देयर विल बी सम स्टिमुलस कुछ आना, पीपल आर एक्सपेक्टिंग। सो विद दैट we are also expecting, like if these levels are hold, then we expect at least 277 तक एक 277 या 280 के आसपास तक एक रिकवरी आना चाहिए। एल्यूमिनियम,
Okay. Yeah. Next is aluminium.
एल्यूमिनियम, या सी देखिए एल्यूमिनियम है, इसमें भी मेरा व्यू सेम है, मेटल्स में फॉल हो चुकी है एंड यहाँ से रिकवरी आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग। बट यस द रिकवरी विल बी लाइक अभी 242 के आसपास है. सो मोस्टली लाइक 247 या 248 के आसपास ही एक्सपेक्ट कर सकता हूँ मैं इसको. अभी ये जो लेवल है 237 के स्टॉप लॉस के साथ ही बाय कीजिएगा जिसको भी करना है. एक सभी मेटल्स में शॉर्ट टर्म एक पुल बैक रैली एक्सपेक्टेड है. कॉपर में ऑलरेडी हो गया है. ये दोनों कमोडिटीज में थोड़ा बाकी है. सो आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग ये आज से जो नेक्स्ट वीक तक थोड़ा रिकवरी फेज रहेगा.
Okay.
या
Though similar questions है how to
ओके.
with respect to iDirect platform, how to set stop loss and target for commodity options buy, like which is also called good till triggered, जो प्रताप ने भी बोला है and कार्तिकेय ने भी mention किया है. So GTT is under development for commodities. Other I think F&O section में available है F&O equity में. For commodities it is under development. जहाँ पे आप एक ही ऑर्डर में स्टॉप लॉस एंड टारगेट दोनों सेट कर सकते हो. फिलहाल यू विल हैव टू डू इट इन डिफरेंट ऑर्डर्स ओनली, बट वेरी सून वी विल गो लाइव विद जीटीटी फंक्शनैलिटी फॉर कमोडिटीज. एंड how are dollar prices and commodity prices linked? Okay, so
ओके
basic, yeah,
ठीक. अरविंद
yeah,
यू
I know, we can
गो
take
इट.
that.
Dollar index and commodity prices mostly there is a inverse relation. बट लास्ट अभी जो कुछ दिनों से हम देख रहे हैं खास करके गोल्ड एंड सिल्वर प्राइसेस. गोल्ड एंड सिल्वर प्राइसेस भी ऊपर जा रहा है एंड डॉलर इंडेक्स भी ऊपर जा रहा है. इट क्लियरली इंडिकेट्स देयर इज अनसर्टेनिटी है. तो इसके लिए लोगों का इंटरेस्ट जो है सेफ हेवन एसेट्स के लिए बढ़ रहा है. सो इन सच सिनेरियोज gold and silver along with dollar they move in a tandem. अदरवाइज बाकी कमोडिटीज का देखेंगे या जो भी है नॉर्मल सिनेरियो में एकदम ऑपोजिट कोरिलेशन रहता है. गोल्ड सिल्वर ऊपर मतलब डॉलर ऊपर जाएगा तो गोल्ड सिल्वर नीचे रहना चाहिए. दिस इज द जेन्युइन सिनेरियो, नॉर्मल सिनेरियो.
Okay, right. And what is the goal target for today?
टुडे आई थिंक इट हैज ऑलरेडी मूव्ड अप. सो मेरे हिसाब से 78,000 के लेवल्स अभी ऑलमोस्ट वहां पे ही है. 78,200 अगर आज ये क्रॉस होता है तो मैं ज्यादा एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर रहा हूँ. 78,400 या 500 के आसपास होना चाहिए. उसके आसपास ही मैं बोल रहा हूँ. आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग मैक्स टिल 78,400 या 500 आज के लिए. बट जो भी है किसी के भी ट्रेड्स रहेंगे तो 77,700 के स्टॉप लॉस रखिएगा जो भी बाय कर रहे हैं या जो भी बाय करके कर रहे हैं ट्रेड्स.
Okay, noted. And this is for the audience. आप audience please put in the chat box up simultaneously कि session से क्या expect किए थे or anything that we would like that you would like us to add in the upcoming sessions, or what you would like us to cover even in the next session coming Thursday also. So आप add कर दीजिए so that we will try and incorporate those changes also. So that's one. And then Sanju ji का एक question है, please provide future plus an option plus an commodity so that we can trade with stop loss. Sure, Sanju ji, ये GTT once it is live, you will be able to place with stop loss also. So I hope until then उसको manually करना पड़ेगा, but very soon we will be live with GTT and commodities. When you start commodity alert facility, please. Alert facility, right? We have taken up Nirupama ji. We will try and incorporate it to our features. When will execution algo function will be introduced for commodities? That is also being taken up. We will soon let you know when these features are coming up. But Nirupama ji, if you're asking about square of alert, then that will also come up soon. If that's what specifically I asked about, if it is about square of alert, बहुत जल्दी आपको वो feature दिख जाएगा. But price alerts की mention कर रहे हो, then we have taken up this point. We will get back to you soon on this. Is there any call for crude, Anup?
Today I am expecting if you got any rally okay towards 6350 or 63 थोड़ा भी ऊपर आता है तो you can take a short position. And for that I would recommend to keep a stop loss above 6400 के ऊपर का एक स्टॉप रख के या 6380 या 90 के ऊपर का भी स्टॉप रख के आप सेल कर सकते हो। ओके, या किसको थोड़ा वेट करके कंफर्म आने 60 to 75 जैसे ही ब्रेक होता है उसके नीचे चलेगा तो थोड़ा कन्विक्शन हो बढ़ जाएगा, वो आप सेल कर सकते हो। थोड़ा रैली पे भी सेल करेंगे तो आई वुड से आई डोंट थिंक सो कुछ ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम है। ऊपर में सेल कीजिए, 6400 का स्टॉप रख के सेल कीजिए।
Yeah. And when GTT will be live, we are hoping this month end, KFG. Hopefully by the end of the month, we will have it live for commodities. Yeah. Anup, any other commodity you wanted to cover?
No, I think
Natural gas.
almost natural gas, I think we have covered already. Natural gas, as I said, it has been in a very tight range since last few days. So इतना कुछ clarity है नहीं। बेटर आई वुड से अवॉइड कीजिए। थोड़ा ट्रेंड क्लियर होगा तो विल टेक ए कॉल, या जो भी है व्यू आपको शेयर करेंगे।
Okay.
या
Yeah. मतलब कुछ कॉल है क्या नेचुरल
अभी के लिए
गैस?
तो मैं आपको वही नेचुरल गैस के लिए अभी वही रेंज दूंगा, 298 या 296 नीचे में और 320 ऊपर में, ये रेंज में है। लास्ट 4 दिन से ये रेंज में है, तो आप मैं उनको जो भी है ट्रेडर्स जो भी ट्रेड करते हैं आप रेंज में ट्रेड कीजिए। ओके, और अगर ऊपर में 325 के ऊपर चलेगा तो ही बाई साइड में जाइएगा। ओके, आप देख सकते हैं 1 2 3 4, ये 4 दिन हो गया वो पूरा रेंज में 321 ऊपर में और नीचे में 297 298, बहुत ही छोटा रेंज है। अगर किसको प्ले करना है तो आई वुड से थोड़ा वेट कीजिए, करेक्शन 300 तक आएगा तो वहां पे बाय कीजिए। कल जैसा मूवमेंट आया था नीचे में, परसों भी आया था वैसा ही नीचे आएगा 300 तक तो बाय कीजिए। 295 या 96 का स्टॉप रख के आप बाय कर सकते हैं।
Okay. Yeah, best resources to track commodity trend forecast and news. Sanjay ji, there are multiple websites like investing.com हो गया, Bloomberg, Reuters, ET, CNN का commodity specific time रहता है. Like there are multiple websites, but yeah, but for specific commodities, for example, आज मैं discuss कर रहा था gold specific, World Gold Council का एक website है, तो वहाँ पे आपको multiple reports at multiple times, अलग अलग रिपोर्ट, जैसे डिमांड सप्लाई रिपोर्ट हो गया आज, जैसे मैंने डिस्कस किया था सेंट्रल बैंक्स का गोल्ड रिजर्व्स का एक रिपोर्ट था। सो मल्टीपल रिपोर्ट्स विल गेट विद रिस्पेक्ट टू गोल्ड। सिमिलरली सिल्वर के लिए सिल्वर इंस्टीट्यूट है, silverinstitute.org, तो वो वेबसाइट में आप देख सकते हो। सो फॉर कमोडिटी स्पेसिफिक यू कैन चेक दोज थिंग्स। एज एन दैट investing.com आप देख सकते हो, उसमें न्यूज एवरीथिंग विल बी अवेलेबल, इकोनॉमिक कैलेंडर विल बी अवेलेबल, बट ऑल्सो इन आईसीआईसीआई डायरेक्ट के नॉन लॉग्ड इन सेक्शन में आपको डेली रिपोर्ट्स, वीकली रिपोर्ट्स, मंथली रिपोर्ट्स, स्पेशल रिपोर्ट्स, ईयरली रिपोर्ट, ऐसे सब वहाँ पे भी अपलोड कर देते हैं। उसमें भी आपको इकोनॉमिक कैलेंडर्स रहेगा, फंडामेंटल पॉइंट्स रहेंगे, टेक्निकल पॉइंट्स रहेंगे, यू विल बी एबल टू डिस्कस ऑल दोस थिंग्स, मतलब यू विल बी एबल टू गो थ्रू ऑल दोस पॉइंट्स इन आवर रिसर्च रिपोर्ट्स ऑल्सो। Website page doesn't update live figures in auto mode. By when this will be live? I believe the prices are updating on live basis. Request you to recheck again. If you're still facing some issue, I would kindly ask you to please connect us through the help desk platform. Please inform the other international market timings as per IST which affect our prices. Anup, अदर इंटरनेशनल मार्केट टाइमिंग्स मतलब कितना रहेगा कमोडिटीज का, फॉर एग्जांपल लेट्स से यूएस
तो लाइक इट इज लाइक कंटिन्यू रहता है, कितने बजे तक, 3 बजे तक रहता ही है। सो लाइक 2:30 या 3 o'clock तक रहता है। सो आप अगर ट्रेड कर देखना है तो आप ट्रैक कर सकते हो, बट वॉल्यूम तो रात को 12-1 बजे के बाद इट हैज ऑलरेडी धीरे धीरे कम हो जाता है।
Exactly. But with respect to Indian timings, in the evening session, like after around 4 or 5, you can see volumes racing in the US market.
Yes. तो जो भी इकोनॉमिक नंबर्स आते हैं ना, ये जो लास्ट के अभी जो ये मंथ्स हैं, नवंबर, दिसंबर, जनवरी, फरवरी, ये टाइम आप मार्च जो डे लाइट शिफ्ट चेंज होता है टाइमिंग्स, तो 7 बजे डेटा आते हैं यूएस के नंबर्स, तो उसके बाद मूवमेंट ज्यादा पिकअप होता है। तो आप लोग जिसी को भी ट्रैक करना है तो आप देख सकते हैं वो टाइम पे मूवमेंट कैसा है एंड ऑल।
Okay.
या
Does commodity prices follow technical indicators more than indices?
यस, देखिए टेक्निकल सी अभी, बिकॉज फंडामेंटल्स तो आप देख सकते हैं कि बहुत छोटे व्यू के हिसाब से आप फंडामेंटल में ये करना ट्रेड। सो अभी टेक्निकल्स में क्या है, सब हर स्टडीज का अलग अलग इम्पोर्टेंस है। टेक्निकल्स तो फॉलो करता ही है। आप ये लाइक इफ यू वांट टू फॉलो, अगर आपको एंट्री एग्जिट वैसा करना है तो व्यू बनाइए फंडामेंटल के हिसाब से। ओके, आपका एक व्यू होना चाहिए। टेक्निकल का आप हेल्प लीजिए टू एंटर और एग्जिट, तो दैट विल बी आपके लिए हेल्पफुल रहेगा जो भी। सो दोनों स्टडीज को कंबाइन करके कीजिए, थोड़ा बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग बनाइए, उसके बाद टेक्निकल्स का आप चाहे तो यू कैन हेल्प ले सकते हैं, फॉर स्टडीज या फिर ट्रेड के लिए, जो भी आपको जैसा लगे। But I would say you just maintain stop losses in commodities because these are high volatility markets. So कभी भी सुबह गैप अप या गैप डाउन हो सकता है, and I would say maintain strict stop losses.
Right. Sanju ji का एक लास्ट क्वेरी है. I know we have already passed
Okay,
5,
yeah.
8.
Hmm.
एक लास्ट क्वेरी उनका है, where to subscribe to daily weekly updates. सब आपको सब्सक्राइब करने की जरूरत नहीं है. जस्ट if you are able to see my screen, तो आप icicidirect.com ओपन कर लीजिए. Just showing it since you had asked. यहाँ पे ऊपर कमोडिटी प्रोडक्ट मेन्यू में आप यू कैन सेलेक्ट कमोडिटी, एंड सब मेन्यू में यू कैन सेलेक्ट प्रोडक्ट्स हियर. So once you scroll down a little bit, at this section, there are this report section जहाँ पे आप daily morning, daily evening, weekly, monthly special report सब आप देख सकते हो. तो ये स्पेशल रिपोर्ट के लोकेशन में ही आपको ये ईयरली रिपोर्ट भी यहाँ पे ऐड हो जाएगा वेरी सून बाय एंड ऑफ द डे. तो अब यहाँ से आप कमोडिटी ईयरली 2025 भी एक्सेस कर सकते हो. बट साइमल्टेनियसली अभी तो डिस्क्रिप्शन में ऑल्सो यू विल फाइंड द ईयरली रिपोर्ट का लिंक. यू कैन एक्सेस इट फ्रॉम देयर टू. Okay, anything else that you would like to cover, Anup? Yeah, can we close it?
Yeah,
The
I think
questions is like,
ठीक है. I think we should end up next week.
yeah, then coming week again Thursday 4 p.m. ask us anything on commodity session रहेगा, जहाँ पे रमेश एंड ब्यूटी दिबेट दोनों आपको सारे commodity related questions cover करेंगे with respect to ICICI direct platform, with respect to the product. I suggest you to ask any and every question that you have with respect to commodities trading. So please attend that session also. After 2 weeks, after that session, the next Thursday 4 p.m. will come again up with session 6 of commodities insights, trends and forecast. Until then, thank you all for attending. And I could see some queries. कुछ और भी platform specific queries है, urgent है, तो I request you to please connect with the help desk platform, help desk at ICICI Direct. Otherwise, thank you all. Thank you so much for your time.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risk. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.